Hello, everyone. So, in totally unrelated news, I just wolfed down a snack in between features. I'm just coming out of our first feature, which was Young Thug and his Rico arrest. I broke down Rico in the state of Georgia, and we met and talked about Young Thug's attorney, Mr. Brian Steele. So, check that out. But anyway, I just wolfed down this snack. I love it. It's called the Low FODMAP Snack Bar, Belly Welly. And I swear I'm not sponsored or anything, but it tastes really good. I like it. And I don't have to feel guilty about it because it's good for your tummy, and as someone who really knows that stomach health affects your whole body and takes it seriously, it makes me feel good to have a snack that tastes good, but also won't kill me. You're also going to hear me opening my seltzer water. Today, I'm having a sparkling Evian water, and it's supposedly lime and ginger flavored with magnesium and zinc added to help brain function, right? Supposedly. So, oh, there goes me opening it. So, now that I've informed you of all the totally unrelated things, i.e., my snacks, let me get into the chat on my cell phone so I can check on y'all. And let me get into the chat and say hello to some peeps. Hello to Mo Light and Love. Hello to G Jones. D Jones. Sorry about that, sweetheart. Old School Fresh 123 says, I stopped writing my final to view this. Oh, okay, old school. I'm gonna let you slide because I love you being here, but you gotta promise that the minute we're off, you're gonna get back to it. Okay. Yaya says, I think she's live doing the Young Thug breakdown. Maybe this will be later. Correct. Mo Light, let her know that I'll be on my way. Thank you, Mo Light. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the support a lot, a lot, a lot. Okay, Mara Sharice is back again. Empress Kaya is back again. And I'm going to do something here. I'm going to make Empress Kaya a mod. All right. So Empress Kaya, y'all, Empress Kaya has always been, she's an OG of the channel, and I should have modded her before, right? So welcome to the mod fam, Empress Kaya. Mara Sharice back again. Hey, Mara. Hello, I am Queen Newton. How are you? Hello to Shay Queen. Hello, Mahogany Dreaming. All right. So, you all know why you're here, right? You know that we're going to discuss this preliminary hearing that Natureboy, aka Eligio, we're going to go with Eligio, aka, which one did we decide to go with? Eligio Bishop. So, we're going to watch that. Now, I've heard some mixed reviews on whether or not we are permitted to share this hearing or what the situation is. Okay, so understand that per usual, fair use, fair use. We are simply using this video and its contents for the purpose of me educating you on the legal process and you being edified therein. Okay, and I always include in the description where I've gotten any videos, clips, such from. Okay. All righty. So why don't we just hop right in? Because it's already 6:19. We lost time thanks to the Young Thug Rico situation going over, which honestly, I scheduled these kind of back to back, and maybe I shouldn't have, but that's another combo. So let's get into it. Sorry, you all. This thing was being weird for a second. Share screen. All right, here we go.
And stand in front of them and wait for her Uber to pick her up. She stated while she was in front of the group, they began to tell her how it was a mistake to leave and she was evil. That lives at the location. And stand in front of them and wait for her Uber to pick her up. She stated while she was in front of the group, they began to tell her how it was a mistake to leave and she was evil if she was to leave. She stated the Uber arrived and she wanted to say goodbye to Mr. Bishop. Mr. Bishop?
Detective
Yes.
Nozian, before you go on, at that point when she was trying to leave, was it your understanding from her statements that she kind of felt that she couldn't leave?
She felt that if she left, she was essentially being evil to the group that she had been a part of.
Okay. And now you said that before she left, she went to see Mr. Bishop. Are you aware if Mr. Bishop called for her to come see her before she left?
He did state he did tell her he wanted to see her before she left.
Okay. So
for those of you who are like, what? We are watching the prosecutor in this matter question an investigator. Okay, so this is an investigator telling the court what information she acquired in her investigation. And the person that is questioning the investigator is the prosecutor. Is this the norm for preliminary hearings? Absolutely.
at that point, does she goes and sees him?
Yes, ma'am. She stated he was upstairs. She stated when she went upstairs, Mr. Bishop pulled her into another room. He kept holding on to her and stated he did not want her to leave and to bring her stuff back inside. She stated she continued to tell him she wanted to leave, and he became irate and began to tell her that she was his property. I'm going to say, excuse my language because it's going to become a little bit explicit. She stated he began to tell her how she was his bitch and she was no longer allowed to leave. She stated she began to essentially beg him to leave and began to cry. She stated Mr. Bishop then began to attempt to have sex with her. She told him no and he continued. She stated she told him no multiple times, but he continued not to listen to her, and they proceeded to have sex because she knew she wasn't going to be allowed to leave.
And while this conversation is going on, it's in a room with Mr. Bishop and Miss Neal, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And was she confined to that room and felt that she could not leave?
She stated she did not feel like she could leave and he was holding on to her.
Okay. While Mr. Bishop proceeded to engage in intercourse with Miss Newell, at any point did Miss Newell tell you that she told him yes, she told Mr. Bishop yes and wanted to have sex with him?
No, ma'am. She stated she said no multiple times.
Did she relay to you how she felt about Mr. Bishop, as whether she could kind of escape the situation or do anything else while that was happening, while he was proceeding to rape her?
She stated she didn't have fear that he would strike her, but he would order the other females to abuse her. She stated he had already done.
And you all, we have to stop right there. First, because I have to acknowledge some celebrities in the chat. But second, because we need to talk about the future of this case. So first, the most requested moderator in the whole world is in the building, y'all. Everybody give a warm welcome to Doug. Hey, Doug, how's it going? Doug is sharing the Cash Appy if you'd like to support the channel. But if you want a free way to support the channel, the like button and the share button are totally sufficient. Okay. Oh, why am I hearing? Oh, my phone had volume on it. Okay. All righty. Hello to Makita Nutter as well. Hello to Wisdom Over Feelings and Deneen Bay. Some of you have come back from the second live. So thank you for joining me for both lives. Like, that's real love. I appreciate that. So now let's talk about the future of this case. Here, the investigator is saying that the victim told her that while she did not fear that Nature Boy himself, well, let me back it up a bit. So we know that part of the charges in this case is false imprisonment, right? We already have the investigator testifying that the victim felt that she could not leave, that she was being detained in that room and she was being detained in the home. That is setting the stage for false imprisonment. Now, moving forward a bit, the victim allegedly told this investigator that while she did not fear that Nature Boy himself would hit her, she feared that he would direct one of the women to hit her. Everyone, that is setting the stage for bringing those women into this case. Now, there's some options here. Those women could be brought into this case as witnesses if they agree to cooperate, or they could be charged and be defendants. But we know that the stage is being set for them to be involved because here we have the victim telling the investigator and then the investigator testifying that part of the fear and the violence in the environment was that Nature Boy would order other women to hit her. All right, let's continue.
Done it that day, and that she had fear for her safety.
Stomach being good. Well, I don't know. I can't see it. I know.
And she did also state to you that she was crying and upset while this was occurring, correct?
Yes, ma'am, she did.
Mhm.
Oh.
After the incident happens in that room with Mr. Bishop and Miss Newell, what did Miss Newell do?
I have to note something quick. This is a lawyer practice point, but I have to note this. This defense attorney is nice because the prosecutor just asked her own witness a leading question and he didn't object. Now, mind you, it is a preliminary hearing, but a really zealous attorney would not have let that slide. Not to say he's not good at what he does. Because it's a prelim, he may just be being, chill because it's prelim. This is not an insinuation that he's not good at what he does.
She stated after they finished having sex, he ordered her to take a shower. She stated she had received multiple calls from the person who had actually ordered her the Uber. And that she had contacted them and let them know she was going to have to sneak out and sneak away from the house. She stated she went to bed with the rest of the group and woke up in the early hours. It was only her and another person awake, and the other person was in the shower. She stated she only grabbed one of the two suitcases she had packed and left the location without saying anything to anyone else.
And when she left, what date was that?
She left on 3/24/2022. That's going to be March 24th.
And she made a report back on March 30th, is that my recollection, March 30th, 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And she informed you, when did she inform you that the videos were posted to social media again?
She actually, in the initial report, had reported that it had been posted on social media.
How many days after she left?
How many days after she left were they
The
posted?
video was posted, correct?
They were posted 3 days after she left.
And
Okay, so we're going to pause here because I want to make note of a few things. So the first thing I want to make note of, the victim told the investigator that after the incident occurred, Nature Boy instructed her to go and take a shower. Now, anyone who's familiar with this type of case, that's a red flag for you immediately. But that will also be a red flag at a potential trial because this prosecutor, which she seems to be very capable, right? She can, of course, draw the connection there and she can say, This defendant knew what he was doing when he told the victim to go take a shower. He knew that he was potentially getting rid of evidence that he had violated her. That is extremely important, everyone, because if Nature Boy had consensual contact with this victim, why would he direct her to go and take a shower right afterwards? Especially with all the things that especially with all the things that we have heard about Nature Boy on social media in regards to hygiene. I mean, let's be real. We've heard a lot of reports that Nature Boy doesn't really shower like that. He smells and things, right? So why this big emphasis on her going to take a shower? Okay, then. So that insinuates, and that's a logical reason. You can cross the bridge in logical reasoning there. It's a logical deduction to say Nature Boy knew what he had done. And that is why he told her to go and take a shower to get, try at least to get rid of physical evidence of the violation.
I forgot to ask you earlier, but what do you remember the Twitter username or handle that it was posted under?
It was posted under at th33god_.
And so essentially at what could read as 3god_.
Yes, ma'am.
And in your investigation, was that a name that Mr. Elijah Bishop goes by or calls himself?
Yes, it is.
And in speaking with Miss Newell, did she inform you that this was Mr. Bishop's Twitter profile or social media handle?
Yes, ma'am.
724-7638.
After taking Miss Newell's statements and observing these videos, did you end up taking out warrants against Mr. Elijah Bishop?
Yes, ma'am.
What were those warrants for?
Excuse me, let me get the specific wording.
So in case anyone is wondering what the line of questioning here is leading to, allow me to kind of set the stage for you. So remember, the charges here are false imprisonment, the R word, and then the posting, right? The revenge, PORN, of posting these videos of the alleged victim. So notice that the prosecutor walked through each of those. She walked through the false imprisonment, she walked through the alleged R word, then she walked through the posting of the videos or pictures or whatever it was, right? And the reason why she has to clarify the handle, again, that is part of beyond a reasonable doubt, right? Which that's not where we're at. That's not the burden of proof we're at in preliminary hearing, but she still has to set the stage for that, right? So she walks through all of that. Now she has the investigator walk you through the warrants. The reason that the questioning is set up that way is because in a preliminary hearing, the state has to prove that the warrants they are holding the defendant on are valid, that those warrants are backed by probable cause. And the way you do that is exactly what we see here. First, who told you this information? The alleged victim. What did the alleged victim tell you about each thing that we are accusing the defendant of doing? Okay, and then as a result of that, what did you do? Oh, you issued warrants. Okay, what did those warrants say? This is how you validate having the person under arrest. All right.
While you're looking that up, let me ask you, did you take out a warrant for rape?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you take out a warrant for false imprisonment?
Yes, ma'am.
And then did you take out 3 warrants for prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmissions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We're going to go through each one of them individually, but the warrant that you took out for rape was involving against was involving the victim, Miss Janae Newell, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you took that out due to the defendant having carnal knowledge of Miss Newell, engaging in some type of intercourse with her forcibly and against her will. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And those were based on her statements that she did not consent and felt like that he would have someone cause harm to her if this didn't happen.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And looking at the false imprisonment warrant that you took out, that also involved Miss Newell, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was the false imprisonment warrant for?
Essentially for keeping her there preceding the rape.
And that was against her consent as well.
Yes, ma'am. She
And he didn't
continued.
have. Sorry, go on.
Sorry, she continued to state she wanted to leave.
You also took out 3 warrants for the prohibition on sexually explicit electronic transmissions. 2 of them were felonies and 1 of them were misdemeanor. Is there anything you want to let the court know on what those 3 warrants actually should be?
Yes, ma'am. All 3 should be a felony warrant. Unfortunately, it was my misunderstanding and myself with the judge at the time. Essentially because they were all posted to Twitter, and that is a network that allows sexually explicit content without her consent, they should all be felony warrants.
Now, don't let that one go over your head now. Remember in the first video where we broke down his charges, we discussed that prohibition on posting, prohibition on electronic transmission, which really means prohibition on revenge, PORN. Remember, we discussed that charge could be a felony or a misdemeanor, and we did not know. Well, now it's being clarified. It's being clarified that they intend on prosecuting those charges as felonies as well. So when we think about this indictment that we reviewed again in the very first video on this case, that ups it to now, my goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're in the range of 4 to 6 felonies now. All right, let's continue.
Okay. And those were all warrants taken against Mr. Eligio Bishop based on the probable cause evidence that you received from Ms. Newell and the evidence you observed on social media, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, the state has no further, and Detective Panosian, obviously all of these, where was the incident location where the rape and false imprisonment is alleged to have occurred?
2993 Harbor Chase, that's in Decatur, Georgia, 30033.
And that's in DeKalb County?
Yes, ma'am.
And that is the same address also listed for the prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmissions, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's your understanding from your investigation that is where Mr. Bishop resided and lived at?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, at this time, the state has no additional questions for Detective Panosian.
Mr. Edie, cross-examination.
Appreciate it. Good morning. Please, Detective Panosian, may I get the correct spelling? I just want to make sure that I have the correct. I see it at the bottom. But just to make sure, Monica Panosian, case by team.
P as in Peter, ANOSIAN.
Okay. All right, I just asking a few follow-up questions, just a few details that may or may not know. So, correction that you stated that your first contact with Miss Noel, you stated that she joined a sex cult, correct?
That's what she called it, yes.
All right, that's what she called it. And
Now, y'all, I'm wondering why he would ask that question, but we're going to assume that he's going to tee that up. So let's continue.
can I get the statement date, the day that she gave the statement?
It was 4/7/2022.
Okay, so March 30th was the day that the report was made? Just want to make sure I got right the timeline.
Yes, the initial report was made on March 30th.
All right, so I noticed you mentioned the videos on Twitter, and that they can be posted with consent and things of the nature. On the videos, were there any captions attached to the videos?
Initially, when you essentially have to look at the post, it has a caption stating that you have to click this link. It is and has sensitive content.
And when the video, I'm assuming when you watch the video, was it just a video, any other wording around it, meaning like hashtags or anything else associated with the video, or just the video as it is, which is reading you correct right now?
I believe it was just the video. I would have to double check the actual recording, so.
Okay. You think watched 3 videos, but believe it to be 4, correct?
She stated there were 4, but I was only able to observe 3.
Yeah. And she told you that these videos were posted without her consent, because she believed she was leaving or he was mad?
She believed it as a form of taunting her.
Okay. Would you find it to be the same like harassment?
Yes.
All right. You mentioned that there was a.
Now, y'all, he could be setting the stage, and we're going to go with he's setting the stage. So let's keep walking through this now, because we're going to go with he's setting the stage.
This video, well, from your observation, were you able to determine if this was from like a phone or like a studio type setting?
I wouldn't be able to determine exactly what it was, but it appeared to me as
Whether or not the video was created with a phone or in a studio type setting, what does that have to do with if Natureboy Okay, again, I'm rambling. What? I don't know. I'm rambling. He could be setting the stage.
a phone.
Were any phones ever collected as far as the search of Mr. Leo's residence?
Yes.
All right. Was those phones, as of now, according to your knowledge, have they been downloaded and went through or opened up?
From my knowledge, not yet. I believe there is a search warrant being obtained shortly for that.
Right. So other than the videos that's been on Twitter, there's no other videos that would have maybe the full video or any other thing other than what you retrieve from Twitter?
Not of my knowledge.
Right. Is this the same video that, from your research, is this the same video that was from the day that they actually?
I just have to clarify this, everyone. It doesn't matter if they created it to do this or do that. He still needs her permission before he puts it on Twitter. It doesn't matter if they created it in a studio. It doesn't matter if they created it on a boat. It doesn't matter if they created it while they were hanging out with a goat. Y'all need some more Dr. Seuss? It does not matter the circumstances under which it was created. He would still need her permission to post it. That is the issue, everyone. All right, let's continue.
She had sex before she left, like the night out, from your understanding?
I do not know the date that the video had been taken. I only know the date that it was posted on Twitter.
Yeah. So there's a possibility that this is another sexual encounter other than the one that is alleged here in the charges.
Yes.
Okay. You stated that at some point in this altercation that she was assaulted by other members in the cult or the group.
Yes.
Or was there any follow-up investigation on that?
Yes, we have obtained multiple videos of Mr. Bishop actually ordering either females or males to hit the same sex. Not
Yo, quiet in the
necessarily just
courtroom, Cam.
Miss
Calm
Newell,
down,
but
man.
other members
I'm
within
gonna
the
hold you in
group.
contempt, man.
Ms. Newell, it precisely gave you two names that she alleged that was assaulting her on this particular day, correct?
Yes.
And was any follow-up with those two people as far as obtaining a statement to confirm if this actually was true or not?
We attempted to take a statement, but most of his members would not want to speak to us.
I noticed that
Oh, womp, womp, womp. To ask if further investigation happened, only to hear that those same people connected to your client won't cooperate with an investigation. Oh, oh, lay me down. I'm sorry, but that moment was trial gold there. To ask if the state further investigated to hear that your client's folks won't cooperate. Oh, my.
in part of what you mentioned with Twitter is consent, right? Consent between the two, correct?
Yes.
And you wouldn't have no idea to know if it was actual consensual between the two because you weren't there and obviously had sex. But from your experience in the videos that you watch, the videos seem to
Objection, Your Honor, this is gonna call for speculation.
Oh no. Oh goodness gracious. Did he go on to insinuate that the investigator observed consensual intimacy in the video that his client allegedly posted illegally? What in the what now, y'all? I have to say, disclaimer again, I do not judge the way that other people practice, and I am not insinuating anything about this man and his career in particular. I'm just providing my reaction to what we are observing.
I haven't heard the question yet, so let me hear the question.
do you believe, do you see any evidence in the videos that this video was not consensual between the two?
All right, so
Objection.
she's raised an objection. Mr. Edie, what's your response to the objection?
I'll reword it.
Your Honor, if that's Mr. Edie's response, I'd still object, saying that the question calls for an opinion, something that Detective Panosian would have no knowledge of in that moment, and so that is speculation, and therefore he should.
Gracious, y'all. Even if this video was created in a moment of consensual behavior, it is still illegal to post the video without her consent. Oh my. Oh, okay, let's continue.
Shouldn't be even allowed to ask that question.
Edie, you want to respond?
No, I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
You stated that when you spoke to Miss Newell, correct?
Yes.
That she stated she was crying and when she had the last sexual intercourse she had with Miss Phyliciad, correct?
Correct.
Right. In this video, was in the video that was on Twitter, was there any crying in that video?
Did not appear to have any crying.
Any crying or any source of resisting? Crying, fighting, words, no. In the particular video on Twitter.
Not in the video from Twitter.
Okay. As I move down just a little bit, I have a few more questions. You stated that on March 24th was the last intercourse that they added, and March 30th was the report. Were there any communications to your knowledge between the 24th and the 30th?
She stated she changed her number and had stopped all communication after she left the location.
Did you ask, or if you, to your knowledge, do Miss Newell have any social media?
She stated she had deleted hers. I do not know if she has any others now.
And the same way that you went back to retrieve Twitter, I'm assuming you sent the subpoena to Twitter, correct?
We sent a search warrant to Twitter. We are still waiting to receive that back.
You plan on sending the search warrant for Ms. Newell's social media?
We do not have social media for Ms. Newell.
Okay. Let's backtrack just a little bit to March 24th. My understanding that Ms. Wells stated someone ordered her Uber on the day that she wanted to leave, correct?
Yes.
All right, and you also stated that he told her to go.
Originally, yes.
All right. So now, y'all, I got to be fair. Now I am hearing questions. Right now, I am hearing questions that I expect to hear from the defense in this case. Okay. I expect to hear, and that's a good point. Who called the Uber? It wasn't her, allegedly, which means somebody was enabling her to leave. Okay. Now we're getting questions I expect to hear from defense in this case. Okay. Up until this point, I've been sitting here, y'all, it was getting hard for me. My head was in my hands because I was stressed listening to the line of questioning that we've heard thus far. I was thinking, my goodness, because let me tell you, I believe firmly in every person's constitutional right to, having somebody in their corner. And this was hurting me up until this point. Okay, I'm in the chat. There's a bunch of people I got to say hello to. Hello to Diva Divine Light. How are you, darling? Love you so much. Thank you for joining us. Everyone, check out Diva's channel. She has an awesome channel. I think let me see your transcript. Let me see your transcript. Let me speak proper. Is in the building as well. So check out her channel. Hello to Mahogany Dreaming. I think I said hi to Black Girl Beauty, but I'll say it again. Hello to Perfect Nails. Perfect Nails. All righty, let's see. Hello to Rockin' with the Truth. Hello to Terry the Notary Public. Hello to Real Talk TV. All right, Perfect Nails has a question. Question: what if she gave permission previously to post it, but not the second time? Interesting. So, that would hinge on the interpretation of that would hinge, I totally lost my words, on the interpretation of the judge in this matter. So, the judge in this matter would have to decide, is consent perpetual? So, if someone gives consent once, is that consent forever? The statute itself, which, by the way, go back to the first video I did on this case for the statute itself does not clarify that. So, the judge would be in the position to decide, is original consent a perpetual thing where somebody always has consent, or does that person have to consent each and every time? All right, let's see. Hello to Octavius Prime. Okay. Let's get back into it, y'all. My head is out of my hands for now. Whoa. Diva Divine Light says, please remember to hit that like button. Yes, y'all. Hit that like button. It is a free way to support the channel. Okay.
Originally told her to go. I'm not too familiar with the housing, but can you describe the house? Is it a multi-story? If you can just give me a brief description of how the house is set up.
The house is a single-family, 2-story house.
And from your understanding of Mr. Leahill's bedroom, would that be upstairs?
From my understanding, yes, but she did not state it occurred in his bedroom.
Okay, but the entry and exit to the house would be downstairs on the base level, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you stated that once the Uber did arrive, her opportunity to leave, she decided that she wanted to say goodbye to Mr. Lee, correct?
Correct.
All right, so
But he also wanted to say goodbye to her.
Right. You didn't mention that Mr. Alejo went to retrieve Miss Noel. Miss Noel went to Mr. Alejo herself, correct?
Yes.
So not sure what's going on here, y'all. Here we go.
Essentially, because he is leader, his requests are more like demands.
All right. Do you have any? Not want to jump too far back into that. I was trying to stay on task, but you stated that because he's the leader.
Can y'all still hear? Because somebody called me. It might have messed up my audio. Can y'all still hear?
Not only did he tell us that he is God to these people, but he has admitted
Give me some ones. Let me know
leader
y'all
of
can
this
still hear.
group, as well as has multiple social media.
So we have a question in the chat that is a very, very, very good question. I'd like to stop and answer it. Hello to New Marie. Welcome to the stream. New Marie says, why is the woman not there to be questioned? So everyone, New Marie is asking, why is it that the alleged victim is not there? And here is the answer. This is a preliminary hearing. In a preliminary hearing, the prosecution does not have to prove the charges beyond a reasonable doubt. All they have to prove is a much lower standard, which is probable cause. So it is the norm in a preliminary hearing to have the investigators and officers in the case testify, but not the actual victim, especially in this kind of case where you have a victim that was physically assaulted like this. These types of cases, victims are very, very traumatized. So you don't trot them out every court hearing. It's only when you really need them. And the burden of proof is not high enough at the preliminary stage for you to really need your victim. You don't want to risk re-traumatizing them at that stage.
Media outlets where he posts his teachings, as well as his followers being called servants and pawns.
Okay, so there was a statement given by Mr. Alejo.
Okay,
yes.
Good. Okay, what did you learn from that statement? And let's just start. When was that statement?
Thank you.
Objection, Your Honor. At this point, I'm going to the information about the statement is irrelevant to probable cause of the charges.
See, this is the preliminary hearing, so a lot of cases get beat at the preliminary, get thrown out. So that's why this is kind of this is valuable information right here.
When was the statement? When did you come into first contact with Mr. Alejo?
We spoke with Mr. Bishop on April 14th, 2022. He was brought to headquarters while executing a search warrant on his residence. Mr. Bishop was read his Miranda rights and agreed to give a statement with us. Mr. Bishop's denied raping anyone and essentially said he was a ladies' man, so he didn't have to rape anybody. He did state that they had sex that night, but he did not see it as rape. And he said, excuse me?
You're correct, keep on.
He stated that the film of them having sex had been consensual, of them filming it, but he continued to deny any allegations.
Did he mention any other postings, any sexual?
He stated that they post sexual content as in education.
And upon your question with Noel, did you ever ask her about the educational posting of the videos?
No, I did not ask her about the educational value of the videos.
Yes, Mr. Alejo's statements itself. And I'll move to the questions.
I'm sorry, you broke up in and out. What was that question?
No, that wasn't the question. I'm sorry. I was just letting you know I was done with Mr. Alejo's question. I have a few more questions for you, and we should be done here. I'm trying to backtrack to where I was at. Okay, so we have Miss Newell, just to bring it back, we have Miss Newell now in the upstairs with Mr. Eladio, correct?
Correct.
Right, you stated that he requested a hug.
He essentially requested to say goodbye.
And you stated in her testimony that felt she couldn't leave.
I'm sorry, you broke in and out. I wasn't able to hear the full question.
In your testimony, did you that she couldn't leave?
Mr. Edie, your
All right, y'all. I'm gonna hop in the chat and answer some questions because honestly, I don't have, and you guys know that I do not take it there when it comes to, certain types of comments. So I'm gonna just hop into the chat, okay? Because I don't really have anything else to say about what's going on at this moment. All right, so I see a question from Her Majesty. Hello, Her Majesty. She says, by his members not cooperating and them getting online saying he is God, is that helping or hurting his case? Well, it can be seen multiple ways. So perhaps them not cooperating helps because then you don't have people confirming that he orders them to do violent things. But then again, perhaps them not cooperating hurts him because you don't have people saying that he did not order them to do violent things. So there's two sides to that. Them getting online and saying he's God, that definitely doesn't help. That because that makes them look like a cult. All right, moving on. Hello to Happy Eva. How are you, darling? Hello to Chris Perkins. All right, hello to Happy Tears. Y'all check out Happy Tears' channel. Hello to Maxine, divested in the details. All right, so we're gonna continue along. I don't know how long this cross-examination is going to last. I don't. Where are we headed? But we're gonna continue. We are committed, and we're gonna stay the path.
audio is spotty, so not sure what's happening because I heard the same thing twice where you just had the words went out.
Is it better to hit me this way?
I don't know. Let's try it.
Okay, I'm gonna try to hold it this way and have nothing turn in the microphone.
All right.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. Your testimony today was that Ms. Newell never stated that she felt she couldn't leave, correct?
She was unable to get away from his grasp, and she felt that if she tried to leave, he would order the other followers to abuse her. So she had fear of her safety.
And that was her belief. That was her belief, correct?
Correct, and it was also her experience prior to all these other incidents.
All right. And I missed earlier, what was the history? How long has she been a member of this cult?
She stated 3 to 4 years.
Okay. And you also stated that there were other times in which she was, I guess, safe to say, in and out. Came, gone, come, gone. Come and go, come and go.
Yes, she stated she had lived with him, I believe, twice before then.
All right. I guess the last two questions. Upon the search of the house, was anything other than phones confiscated?
For all my future lawyers out there and pro se litigants, don't ever say my last question or my last two questions. Because if you ask the witness something that prompts you to ask more questions, then you look like you're all over the place. The witness may give you an answer that causes you to ask 3, 5, or 7 more questions. So you never try to tell them how many questions you have left. That limits you. And if you go beyond what you say you have left. So right now, if he asks 3 or 4 or 5 more questions, he looks unprepared and maybe a little bit crazy. So it's a minor thing, right? But it's one of those minor things that makes you look more polished. You never broadcast when your questioning is going to end until it is already over.
All material that essentially could do any kind of recording since we didn't know what the recording was taken on, as well as marijuana found, from my understanding.
So if his lawyer do a good enough job, they can get it thrown out right here.
And the last
This is
portion broke
preliminary.
out from my phone when you were testifying. You stated that Miss Newell left that night, correct?
The next morning, essentially it started in the early hours of 3/24, and in the morning time around 9 a.m. was when she ended up leaving the location.
Were there people in the house during the time of the sexual intercourse on March 24?
I believe so.
Did you reach out to any of those potential witnesses or anyone who would be in the house for any statements?
We spoke to a few of his followers. Most of them did not want to give us a statement.
So other than the statement you have from Ms. Newell and the statement you have from Mr.
Yet again, why bring attention to the fact that your client's people are not cooperating with the investigation? Why? Again, he may have some tactic that is absolutely amazing. But from what we know now, it doesn't appear to be advantageous. Whew.
Leon, you have no other statements concerning March 24th, the sexual encounter that happened in Mr. Leo's house?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Judge, I have no further questions.
Ms. Hasmino, any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. Detective Panosian, do you see Mr. Eligio Bishop present on this Zoom call here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you just please identify what he's wearing?
Let's have another quick teaching moment. That is another part of what is required at a preliminary hearing. A part of proving that you had the right to arrest and detain Mr. Bishop for these alleged crimes is proving that he is the Mr. Bishop you meant to arrest, right? Proving that he's the right person. So that is what she's doing. If this were happening, quote unquote, in court, it would be called an in-court identification. It maybe still is, right? It's Zoom, but it's technically still court. And yes, that is part of what she has to do. That usually happens on direct and not redirect, but hey, you know, tomato, tomato.
An orange jumpsuit and appears to be a white long sleeve under it.
And he's the individual that you secured warrants for?
Yes, ma'am.
And Detective Panosian, I know that the defense spent some time over Mr. Bishop supposedly making requests, and I wanted you to elaborate. It's your understanding from the inner workings of his group that his requests are seen as demands.
They're seen as orders or demands because of the fact that he is their leader, he is their God, he is seen as the person that they do anything for.
And from your investigation and your understanding of how his group works, if they did not comply with these orders or demands, would things happen to them?
Yes, he would order other members to strike the person.
And this is something that has been observed on multiple videos with multiple of his members, correct?
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time, there's no other further questions for Detective Panosian.
Mr. Edie, any recross?
Edie, say something, Edie.
One question.
What? Okay.
Okay, mic was on. In these videos that you obtained of these demands of I guess actual sex of violence or acts of violence, where Miss Newell precisely were detected to be in any of these videos?
Not from my knowledge right now. Most of the videos that we observed, she was not in them.
All right. And of any of the quote unquote alleged victims in that, were you able to give any statements of those alleged victims?
No, like I said, most of his followers would not give us statements.
Why, y'all? Why? Doing it again? He's doing it again. All right, I'm not going to comment on it anymore. Again, disclaimer, I do not judge the way anyone practices. K Sarah Sarah, bless everyone. Whew, let's wrap this up.
Understood. No further questions.
State have any other witnesses?
No other witnesses, Your Honor.
All right, Mr.
There
Edie,
you go.
you have any witnesses?
No.
Lawyers, argument?
Edie, why you ain't got no witnesses?
Judge, our ask if we just.
So that's a good question. Why are there no witnesses? Why are there no members of Carbonation present to testify on behalf of Mr. Bishop at this hearing? That's a very, very good question. Thank you, Her Majesty. Listen, y'all. Her Majesty says, hit the like button, fam. It's free. And she's absolutely right. It's free, y'all. It's free. So tell me in the chat, everyone, why are there no Carbonation members at this hearing? What do you think? Because as we heard, the judge said to the defense attorney, do you have any witnesses? Which means defense had the opportunity to present witnesses. And by the way, that is the norm. Defense can present a witness at prelims. So why are there no Carbonation members available? It's not even in person. It would have been Zoom. It would have been Zoom. Why are there no Carbonation members there? Her Majesty says because they think that saying nothing will help him. I don't know. Let's see. Rocking with the Mac. One moment, y'all. Rocking with the Truth says perjury charges would come their way. Uh-oh. No comment on that. Deneen Bay says because they could make things worse. Okay, so I'm seeing a trend of people thinking that they could make things worse. Deneen Bay says they could ask them questions that will show it is a cult. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. True Strong Warrior has made a very, very good point. She says they don't want to get locked up for lying or being a part of the actions. I think that Truth Strong Warrior makes a very valid point, everyone. If any of these Carbonation members were on the stand, then the prosecutor could ask them about their role in these things, and they would be under oath. So there are all these theories about them trying to help him, but I'm going to be honest with you all. It looks like, not it is, it looks like, allegedly, these people are more concerned with themselves not being targeted, and that is why they're not present. Okay. Empress Kaya said the same thing. They don't want to incriminate themselves. I am Queen Newton saying the same thing as well. Okay. Brenda W. Hi, Brenda. How are you? She says it would be in their best interest if they didn't. Exactly. Well, let's see what else is left here. I mean, this seems pretty much over, but let's see.
There was a bold, I guess, a clear line of statement on what the law reads that sexual content can be obviously with the consent of two acts. I asked questions directly that would show.
the fact that I think the defense tries to make a big deal that Miss Newell has left over the years and come back to the cult, I'm sure this court's familiar with domestic violence relationships and how.
Ding, 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 ding. Pointing out that the victim has left and come back does not look good. One more time for the people in the back and the people in the bushes. Pointing out that she has left and come back and came back only looks good to an inexperienced mind. Because a person who has experience with women in violent situations knows of battered women's syndrome. It means they try to leave at least 7 times before they actually leave. Leaving and returning to an environment that's allegedly abuse is the norm. In fact, this constant leaving and returning makes it even more valid that this might be an abusive situation. Because why would someone keep trying to leave a healthy situation? So it's not advantageous to him to keep pointing out that she left and returned and left and returned. And I don't know what they're going for. And I'm sorry, y'all know I try not to do that, but I'm at my wit's end with this.
How individuals will leave and go back routinely because of the hold that someone has over them, because of the threat, the fear that they have for their life. This is a situation in which Miss Newell was part of a cult, and where the Mr. Bishop, who somehow self-proclaims himself as God, as the leader of this organization, orders and controls other individual members in the group. And when they didn't do what they wanted him to do, when they didn't do what he asked of them, he would order some type of physical violence toward them. So there was a culture of fear with Mr. Bishop. This is evidenced by multiple videos that Mr. Bishop himself has posted, that other members have posted, that Detective Panosian has testified that she has observed. And Miss Newell at the end of the day said that she told Mr. Bishop no multiple times. She told him that she wanted to leave. He held her, said that she could not leave, and specifically said that she was his property, and that she would not be allowed to leave. And then proceeded to rape her without her permission, engaged in intercourse with her without her permission. She essentially said no multiple times, and then
and say, look, I'm gonna have to sneak out at some other time. So I think that's enough to go in front of the jury and let them try to fact determine.
It's too many. It's too. Look how many women there. Like they,
so that's why we find that the state has met its burden, Mr. Bishop. All that means is that your case is going to be bound over to the Superior Court. Now, Mr. Edie, because of the rape charge, it's the Superior Court only bond. I can't do anything about that bond or any of the other bonds. So, Mr. Edie, anything else on Mr. Bishop?
No, that would be a judge.
All right. Anything else from the state?
No, that is it.
All right, y'all, we made it. We made it all the way through. I don't really have anything further to say here. Okay, as you can see, the case will move forward. I don't have anything further. As if the judge is asking me, right? But nothing further from Empowered Esquire today. Anything further from the people in the chat? Do the chat gallery have any further business in this case? Let me know in the chat. If not, we're going to close the docket and go on and enjoy our Sunday evening. Her Majesty said, is the person recording upset that it was women and not more men? I don't know. I don't know anything about the person recording. Doug says we need more likes. Now, I know y'all not in here watching this commentary and didn't hit the like button. And if you don't like it, hit the dislike. It doesn't even matter, y'all. Either way, it ranks in the algo if you're interacting with it. Okay, so hit some type of button. It's free. All right. Hit some type of button. It's free. Any other questions? Have I seen the end of this vid? No. And I don't see a need for us to go there, so I'm going to not go there. I am reacting to it. Oh, well, let me post this. I am reacting to this. So let's have another disclaimer. I am simply reacting to this hearing. This is the first time that I have ever seen this video. I have not seen the rest of this video. If there's any alleged commentary at the end, I do not know, and I do not know this person. Fair use, fair use. Okay. All righty. So I don't see any other questions in here. So listen, thank you for joining me for another installment of Empowered Esquire TV. You bring something unique to this world, to my channel, to my life, and I love you for it. I hope you've been empowered by the information shared today. And I hope to see you again. All right. Replay gang gang. Tell me, what do you think? I mean, what do you think about this hearing? And were you me? Did you have your head in your hands the whole time? Like, oh my goodness, this is kind of stressful. Right. What did you think about everyone involved? Let me know. All right. I will see you all around.